Good day, honorable educator, esteemed opposition, and beloved audience. Today, I proudly open the government bench on today's motion. This House regret the establishment of cash cow program in tertiary educational institutions like college and universities. First, I will hop into the definition first. What is the meaning of cash cow programs? Cash cow programs are courses designed to primarily generate profit, especially by targeting large student enrollment at low cost, often in professional or international postgraduate market. They are not necessarily evil, but they prioritizing money over mission and customer satisfaction over academic purpose. So my stand here is that I regret the program because they shift the universities from intellectual institution into a corporate service providers, undermining both academic freedom and academic standards. Okay, I will go into my first argument is that cash co program undermine academic dissent and radical thoughts. So you see, universities are not just a training centers. They are and must remain intellectual battleground, place where ideas are debated, power is questioned, and uncomfortable truths are confronted. So, but here's what the cash cow logic goes. First is that students become customers and ideas become a product. When universities' survival depend on student satisfaction, it will avoid anything that could offend, often provoke or challenge its client. Client here, I mean, is by the students. And also radical content like critics of capitalism, race, gender system, authoritarian regimes are filtered out to avoid backlash or reputational risk. And there is some real world example, like for example Australia and UK. Several universities self-censor content on China or Middle East politics due to pressure from foreign student market. FYRE and Heterodox Academy report growing case of speaker of and sanitizing syllabi, and especially in school with major internal revenue streams. And the impact is that critical theories, the colonial students, anti-capitalist thoughts, the same ideas that historically drove social change, become marginalized. And the result is that we get the degree, but no deep thinking, no bold ideas, and no real challenge to the status quo. And which make the CASCO program make universities indeed louder, but emptier, full of students, but hollow on both thoughts. Okay, that's for the first argument. I will hop into my second argument is that CASCO program compromise academic integrity. Yes. So CASCO program don't just control what universities teach, they directly compromise how we are taught, how we are evaluated, and who gets to teach. All for the sake of cutting costs and keeping student customer happy, which erode the foundation of academic integrity, the trust that a degree reflects a real, righteous learning. Let me break this down. First point of my second argument is that the curriculum gets watered down. So to maximize appeal and minimize dropout, universities redesign courses to be more palatable, not more educational. And instead of challenging students to think deeply, they package content like a product. Ideas become a product. And like for example, business degree. Business degree plays critical theory with models like digital self-branding. Law programmer does the complex jurisprudence into a surface level case summary, and engineering master course skip over advanced theoretical maths and go straight into the job skill crash course. And what I say here is not a speculation, it's not a conspiracy that I made up a few minutes ago. There's a study about it. 2021 study by the Higher Educational Policy Institute, HEPI, in the UK notes a significant shift toward a commercially friendly content in profit-driven program, especially in this international post-grad market. And you might ask that why does this happen? Because intellectual challenge doesn't sell, but convenience does. When universities treat students like a customers, curriculum that become a liability, not a virtue. And when course content is shaped by what sells, not by what matters, education becomes and shallow and predictable and fundamentally unacademic. And the next point of my second argument still is that great inflation becomes norm. Let me elaborate it. Is that in Casca model, grades are not reflecting on of learning. They're a reflection of customer satisfaction. If students fail, they drop out. If they drop out, the universities lost money. So eventually, the system shifts and professors are informally incentivized to award higher marks. Course assessment are softened to ensure high pass rate. And internal appeal system and customer service language start replacing academic honesty protocols. And there's a report about it, of course. 2020 report from the National Institute of Economic and Social Research found a direct correlation between high tuition fees and rising grade inflation across UK and Australian universities. And don't you ever think that this is a generosity given by the universities? No, it's a survival strategy. And the result is that we devalue the meaning of academic success. So you see, academic pressure doesn't disappear overnight. It dies through acquired administrative pressure, polite memos, and growing fear that a bad grade means losing a payer customer. And the long-term effect is that students learn from a faculty who are detached from academic development. Department lack of mentorship, innovation, and prestige, and and universities stop being a place of knowledge production, becoming just a content delivery. So, to close my argument is that when content is designed to attract, grades are designed to please, and faculty are hired to save money, what's left of a university's academic mission? So yes, Casco program might look like education on the outside and the lectures, the diplomas and campuses, but it's deeply hollow inside. And once you trust in that integrity is gone, it's nearly impossible to get back. So to summarize, my argument is that Casco programs break the first ever point of a universities to be a place where ideas college and students to be challenged and not comforted, and place that values truth, curiosity, and knowledge for its own sake. The Casco program break that first point. And I have shown you two key harms, that they undermine radical and critical thoughts, and they corrupt academic integrity. And eventually, let me localize it to Indonesia. Because in Indonesia, they make a higher education harder to access for the poor and rural population who are price of premium programs. And worst of all, they corrupt the noble mission of Indonesian education to build a nation through knowledge, replacing it with the logic of profit margins. So I don't oppose the growth, I don't oppose the innovation, but I reject the system, because if that the universities we are building, then we are not building the universities at all. I proud to propose this motion. Thank you.